Okay, let's run it. So here's free game. If I was going to restart my life um, and do everything from the ground up, right, as if I had no money, we're talking about using none of our own money, right? So there's a word called leverage. We really have to understand what leverage means and how to use it because this is something that we're not taught as the workforce. And what I mean by that is people who are employed, right? There's the people who employ us, the business owners, and then there's us, the guys who live paycheck to paycheck, right? So allow me to lay out a little bit of the business world. So money in the business world is different than money in our workforce world. Workforce, you only have so many hours in the day that you can work. So your dollar per hour is just at a set rate, right? Yeah, you can increase wages, or maybe increase skills, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can, I don't know, become a millionaire off of that. Like, you're going to have to definitely have some pretty serious skills. So when we talk about leverage, we understand debt in a totally different way than the way a business understands debt, right? So there's personal credit, which I'm not going to go too far into, but if your personal credit is not either A, it doesn't exist, or B, is bad because you're in personal debt, then you're going to need to talk to someone, right? Either like myself or my lady, she goes over credit and tries to help people get into the right position. But basically, assuming that you're just starting off, no income, and your credit score is either non existent or at least tangible, then the first thing we're going to want to do is try to increase the amount of leverage that we have. So with a personal credit score, you'll have to get in touch with someone who can add you as authorized user and increase how much credit is afforded to your name. So that way when you go to a bank, they will be able to see that you manage over a certain amount of credit, and then they will be more inclined to give you money that you'll be able to leverage for our business. Whenever you're doing something like creating an LLC, you're creating a business, right? You're going to be known as whatever your business is named. So when you go to the bank as yourself, as a person, you're known as, for example, me, Xavier Rivera. Well, Xavier Rivera doesn't have a job, doesn't have a house, doesn't have any assets. So why would the bank be inclined to give me money, right? If I had a business and my business plan was to, I don't know, invest in real estate or maybe just build up personal assets, it's a business plan. So when you sell this business plan to the guy at the bank teller, this dude is going to take your business plan based off of what kind of business you're in, and he's going to label you at a risk, right? So if you're a construction company, there's a lot of risk in that. So they might be a little bit stingy with how much money they give you. But let's say you're trading in stocks, also risky because they do that already. So they're not going to be inclined to give you money either. But let's say you're investing in real estate or you're a holding company, which is personal family assets. Now that mentality that they're going to see is, oh, okay, this guy is going to leverage our money to own things. So that means there's going to be things in collateral if he can't come up on his business that we'll be able to at least take in collateral, right? So what that means is, let's say you go buy a house with the bank's money. Well, they're able to take the money from that house that you got if you can't pay it, and they'll just take the house and then they'll sell it and then they'll keep the in between, right? So understanding that, that's going to put us in a better position to allow us to create a better report. And so when we show up to get that money, we know everything that we're going to get into, right? So we'll tell the bank, like, yo, I'm creating a holding company. This holding company is going to be used to own multiple businesses, and it's going to be used to, um, get houses, whatever it is, asset wise. And that business is going to be less risky. So they're more inclined to give you more money on the front end and then see how your business goes within 2 years. So, another key point, business cannot report income until 2 years. What that means is you can't claim the business income that you make until it's been consistent for 2 years. So you can't use that to leverage anything. So how do you know how much money your business is going to make if you just made it? You don't. So you have to estimate what you want to make by the end of the year. Cool. Well, if we have a proper business plan, we can almost estimate how much we'll make anyway. So hypothetically speaking, let's say we're going to be leveraging our money, and we're going to be making $1 million of revenue. That doesn't mean you're going to be making $1 million. It's going to be in your bank account. That just means revenue. So whether you're owning $1 million worth of property or whatever as such, um, this concept will allow banks to give you more money. So moral of the story: when you tell the story right and you sound like you know what you're talking about, they will at least give you the opportunity to show up and say, all right, here, we got 10, 20, 50 bands that we'll give you. Cool. We can work with that. We just had zero. So 10, 20, 50 bands is more than enough, right? First thing I'm going to invest in is education, right? And I don't mean college. I mean finding someone who's already done what I want to do and go get those secrets so I can either, it's not fast track, but I won't make the same mistakes that are pretty easy to understand when someone lays it out for me, right? So in my world, I'm me as a person, I'm a mentor, right? So I teach people how to take this bread, flip it on stocks, right? So, for example, let's say I charge you $10,000 to teach you. Cool. Use the bank's money, take the 10 bands. They do 0% interest on those business credit cards. So you have 1 year with no interest for this money, which gives you 1 year of mentorship with someone who can run you through the game of how exactly to turn the money that you have into a fortune, right? Or just a consistent income, because that's what we need to get first, right? So investing in a mentor is like crucial, and somewhere between $10,000 to $20,000 is going to be the normal cost. If you put this in perspective on how many people go to college, you'll go 100 bands in debt to go to college, and you're not even guaranteed a job at the end. So you getting a mentor for 10 to 20 bands, that's $80,000 to $90,000 cheaper than college, and you get to leverage and bet on yourself because it's all up to you whether you use the knowledge and leverage it the right way. Whereas college, you have to finish those classes in order to get your degree. That's a guaranteed amount of time that you have to give and the guaranteed amount of money. Whereas a mentorship, you can run it up in the first year as long as you listen to it and do it right. Right. So if that perspective makes sense moving forward, this is something that we're going to want to do. So, me in my world, stocks is the game. I don't need to take the bank's money or my own money to invest in stocks. When you invest into this mentor, myself, is going to tell you, hey, boom, you paid them 10 bands. Now we're locked in for a year. Let's get to it. This is our first step. Let's go to find a prop firm. A prop firm is a company that allows you to borrow their money and you trade with their money and you make a percentage of it. So, for example, for me, I'm going to trade with TopStep. This is a company that I'm going to tell you, hey, go to topstep.com, go look at their report, right? $150 a month will get you access to 150 bands on a trading account. So you have 1 year to work with me. Let's say you spend the entire 6 months just learning, quote unquote, right? Majority of the people learn the strategy within 1 to 2 months. Let's say 6 months. Now you have 6 more months to apply the strategy. So in order to get a 150K account, it costs $150 a month until you pass the test. When you pass the test, you don't pay the $150 anymore. So the mentorship goes on your credit card and all the expenses for your business goes on the credit card. If you're following me, let's just move forward, right? Now you understand the thing. You go take the test. You pass it in the first month. It only cost you 150 bucks. Now you got access to 150 bands. Trading stocks is a skill. So if I were to just give you an example of plenty trades that I've already taken in my lifetime, I'm gonna put this up on the screen for us right here, and let's just say uh, this is one of my strategies, right? Is you'll learn how to make this box, right? Boom, you make this box. So here, we're buying. It's in the box. If it falls out of this box, we get out. We're selling it. We're going to take the loss. If not, we're just going to ride it up to this line and take our profit. 15 minutes. Boom. Goes up. Another 15 minutes. That's 30 minutes. Another 15 minutes. 45. Another 15. We got an hour in. How much is this? $20,000. We're using a $150,000 account. So we're leveraging their money. Boom. We get out 20 bands, 1 hour. Not saying every trade's going to go like this, but hypothetically, when you get good at what you're doing and you can see these opportunities, then you can sit in for something like this. I just had a student last week do the same thing. He made 10 bands though in a day. So now that you just made 20 bands, it's not all yours. The company needs to split it with you. So you have a 90-10 split. You keep 90, they keep 10, right? So if you got 20 bands, They're going to keep $2,000 and you're going to keep the $18,000. Dope. How much did the mentorship cost? 10 bands. Cool. Pay off the 10 bands. Now your business is already in profit. It's a skill that you can't lose. No one can take the business away from you at this point. And now all you need to do is manage your funded account, right? Keep a little bit of change for wiggle room so that way your business can fluctuate through revenue. And you don't have to just get one account, you can get three accounts. So if 150K will allow you to make 20 bands in a day, imagine three accounts. That's 450 bands, right? So you can just leverage the same amount, 20K times three, because it's going to be three accounts, right? 246, 60 bands. So obviously this is like a really good example if you were to just make a trade and a banger like that. But we don't need to get rich in a day, right? We've literally worked our whole lives and everything. So let's normalize the idea that we don't got to get rich in a day. This shit could take as long as it needs to. But this is the concept of how it should go, how the flow should go. Let's say in a garbage world, right? You get this leverage, you pay the 10 bands, and now you're going to take an attempt at making money on this funded trading account, and it doesn't go well. Let's say you lose the account. How much did the account cost you? $150, right? So let's say you try this 10 times. That's $1,500 of losses and a whole lot of lessons you got. When I was doing this, I did not have funded accounts. I would save $10,000, put my $10,000 savings in stocks, try to learn what I'm doing wrong, lose the entire 10K, and then I gotta go wait, save up more bread, and come back a little bit more proper. Unfortunate experience, bro. But you lose 10 accounts, I promise you, you're gonna get the 11th one. You know what I'm saying? And if not that, you get all the knowledge that builds up, and eventually you're gonna get it, and it costs you a fraction of what a regular trader would have had if he didn't invest into a mentor, right? So this is the way I would start from the bottom up if I was going the trading route. You can do this with other businesses as well, but I don't have those other businesses. I'm a trader, and this is the way I do it, right? So in that scenario, there's a lot of things that you have to learn, but it's all going to be mapped out for you if you had a mentor in the first place. And worst case scenario, you're down 10 bands, but you have an LLC, trading knowledge, and you get to just grind on this for 1 to 2, 3 years. Imagine if you gave yourself 5 years, 5 years to come up on a business. That's usually how long it takes for a business to become profitable in the first place. 5 years. How long was high school? High school was 4 years. That shit flew like that. How long was college, right? To get your associates, another 4 years. You do that. My military enlistment was 4 years. That went like this, okay? So time's gonna go by anyway. So if you have the systems in place in order to get you to where you're going, then just let time do its thing. Don't rush it, right? There's just a lot of places you'd rather be, of course, and a lot of money you'd rather spend. But if you use leverage properly, you can use your own money. Go get your own job, make side income, but make sure this one is going to take you to the land that we're trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? So obviously there's way more after this point, but this is as far as you need to go. And this is what you need to know, because at this point, you can reverse engineer everything I just talked about right now and go step by step in to achieving something like this or going through another business style. Like I said, I only know about trading in my personal opinion, and I personally love this one way better. If I knew any other business, obviously I would have been running it up on those too. But for me personally, education is my side business. I like to teach people how to do this stuff, and it's a great opportunity because I'm the best mentor that I wish I had when I was doing it, if that makes sense. So I get to hold myself accountable and my students accountable with doing stuff like this. So hopefully a lot of this makes sense. If you have questions, put it in the comments or text me personally. And check me out on Instagram and YouTube, depending on where you're seeing this video at.